So today we're going to talk about Al-Anon. To understand Al-Anon, it is necessary to understand what is meant by alcoholism. Alcoholism is a disease of the family, or family disease. In most cases, when an alcoholic is drinking, they are very unpleasant. Generally, they are very critical and judgmental. Loved ones can never do anything right. One day they want things this way. On another day, they want things done another way. You never know what to expect. Because of these demands, people try to be perfect to avoid the wrath of the alcoholic. Perfectionism is a form of gaining approval while at the same time avoiding emotional abandonment. We also become people pleasers, but we are never perfect enough. We are always expected to know what to do without being told. We work so hard to be perfect, please the alcoholic, we lose sight of our own emotional and spiritual needs. In fact, many alcoholics will tell their loved ones they should not feel anger, frustration, or multitude of other feelings. We lose sight of who we are. And we never know when the other shoe will drop. We walk on eggshells because we don't know what is going to happen next. We learn to fear because we live in fear. We are always expecting the worst. Our self-confidence diminishes as well as our self-esteem because we feel we're never good enough. Negative thinking becomes our normal. My mom's dad was a very bad alcoholic. He was put in a sanitarium a couple times. My mom told me her and her siblings would shake in their boots until their dad went to sleep. My dad told me Grandpa was a very nice guy and fun to be around when he was not drinking, but verbally abusive when drinking. My mom became a perfectionist, did not know how to nurture her emotional or spiritual life. She was very fearful, always expecting the worst, lacked self-confidence, and had low self-esteem. She was a people pleaser. Because she carried these characteristics into her adult life and into motherhood, she inadvertently infected her children. I'm the oldest of 8. I was expected to be perfect, set a good example for my siblings, always told I shouldn't feel certain ways, particularly anger. I was always expected to know what to do about everything without being taught. Where was Mr. Google and ChatGPT when I needed it most? By focusing on being perfect, being a people pleaser, ignoring my feelings, I never learned who I was. My mom became a caretaker of her dad and probably did not know it. In essence, I had become a caretaker for my parents and siblings without understanding that I was being a caretaker. Caretaking can be a symptom of trying to get recognition for one's soul. I remember a sister-in-law and brother-in-law said I was a caretaker for the family. How many people are caretakers and do not know they're caretaking as a result of the effects of alcoholism in their family? I am sure there are many. When my wife and I were dating, my roommate told Karen that I did not know myself at all. I asked Karen several times during our marriage why she married me. Her answer was always the same. She could see who I was and loved that person. One summer, my dad's side of the family had a family reunion, and 2 weeks later, my mom's family had a family reunion. Everyone at my dad's family reunion was laughing and having a great time. At my mom's, just about everyone had a glum face, a stark difference. My cousins are carrying on the legacy of the effects of alcoholism and do not even know it. None of those cousins have an alcoholic parent. Their parent, who is a sibling of my mother, likely passed the effects of alcoholism on to them. There are many people passing on the effects of alcoholism because they do not know they had a grandparent or a great-grandparent, and they also don't know the effects of alcoholism. This is why alcoholism is such a serious or insidious disease. These are some of the effects of the alcoholic behavior on family and members and friends, and why it is called the family disease, and how it is passed down from one generation to the next. Where does Al-Anon fit in all this? Retired Pastor Al Dungan and I went to lunch in 2017. He asked me if there's alcoholism in my family. I told him about Grandpa. Al told me he was the son of an alcoholic and sees characteristics of the family disease of alcoholism in me. He suggested I find an Al-Anon group for adult children of alcoholics. I had carried into adulthood a lot of emotional pain from growing up. I tried therapy. It helped very little and was expensive. So I thought, let's give it a try. I found an Al-Anon group that had adult children of alcoholics, parents of alcoholics, and spouses of alcoholics. This provided several perspectives. Two things happened at the first meeting, at Al-Anon meeting for me. Listening to the people talk about their experiences made me ask myself, what am I doing to cause my own misery? The second thing that stood out was it gave me a deeper understanding what my mom must have gone through growing up with an alcoholic father. I never lived with an alcoholic, so I do not know what that's like. I acquired the effects of alcoholism from my mother. I forgave my mom from the depth of my soul. Forgiving my mother cleansed my soul of all the resentment and anger I had harbored from the way she raised me, and I had not even done one step in Al-Anon yet. Very fortunate for me. 18 months later, 3 different women individually came up to me and said the same thing. The emotional pain in my face they saw the first night broke their hearts. Then they went on to say, now look at you. You are laughing, you're enjoying yourself. They did not see any emotional pain in my face anymore. This is the power of working the 12 steps of Al-Anon. That person my wife fell in love with finally came out. I'm a very lucky man. Thank you, Al Duncan. Al-Anon is a spiritual organization, not a religious organization. There is a story of a Catholic nun who, after 10 years in the convent, felt severe emptiness and feeling loss of purpose, questioning her vocation as a nun and even her very existence. Being a nun, she of course asked God for help. God's answer was a staff member of an alcoholism and chemical dependency program came to the convent to speak about the effects of alcoholism upon the family and friends. She grew up with alcoholism. She wrote this about the effects of alcoholism on her, and I quote, I became a people pleaser and had lost my own identity completely. I measured my self-worth by what others thought of me, how well I was liked, how perfectly I performed my duties. I thought I was only valuable if I made others happy. End quote. She thought with all her religious training she understood spirituality. After working the 12 steps of Al-Anon, she said she finally found and understood spirituality and her purpose as a nun. She also developed a more intimate relationship with the God of her understanding. If you find yourself resonating with any of that I have said, I encourage you to try Al-Anon for emotional and spiritual healing. One more story, and I promise it's the last. A 30-year-old member of Hope for Today Al-Anon group, which I attend, asked me why I was not bitter that I not get to Al-Anon until I was 63 years old. My answer was that now I have serenity and I enjoy life like I never have before. I was not going to waste 1 second on being bitter. This is evidence you can teach an old dog new tricks. Al-Anon has a saying, let it begin with me. By working the Al-Anon program, I choose to let it begin with me, to not pass the effects of this insidious disease on to others. There is a link on the TLC website that lists all the Al-Anon groups in the Twin Cities. It is also on the screen above, or at least it should be. And it is in the bulletin. You may want to try 2 to 4 groups to see which group you feel most comfortable with. When I walked into the Hope for Today group, I knew it was the right group for me. I hope I painted a clear picture of the effects of alcoholism on family members and friends, and painted a picture of the healing power of working the 12 steps of Al-Anon. Thank you.